What's up, everyone? Welcome to our rundown show today. And of course, it's never a boring end of the week to a weekend. I swear, every time we do one of these shows, Joe, it's some groundbreaking announcement that pops up. How you doing today?
It's an interesting weekend that's happened. I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a lot to unpack. I was just telling you before the show, I'm like, hey, Joe, I'm almost exhausted because of all the stuff that's happened in the market here, specifically really on the Solana chain. And we're going to dive deeper into it. But let's take a look at this overall, just cryptocurrency prices. Our fear and greed meter has been creeping more and more towards the red here every single day, a 38 fear. Bitcoin right around 94,000, holding up okay relatively to a lot of these other tokens. But the big talk of the town, in my opinion, is Joe, I think it was on Valentine's Day, the 14th, this past Friday, Solana was over $200. And now we're sitting at $165 Solana with possibility of going lower. What are your thoughts on this complete market right now?
Well, in complete market overall, Bitcoin's at what, nine above 90,000. So it's hard to be bearish, right? Everything else is definitely feeling a hit. There's a reason Solana's underneath 200, 175, and we'll get into that. But overall, I'm not shaken. I think analytics say that the bulls will stay intact up to a $70,000 Bitcoin. So we have yet to see that, and hopefully we don't see that. And even we do, I don't really care.
Yeah, that would feel like it would be definitely on sale. And we talked a little bit about this in last week's show, where we've seen like a rotation into Bitcoin as almost like the safe haven. You know, a lot of people have been getting burned, and a lot of, and not just meme coins. We're talking altcoins, all sorts of coins have had this terrible ripple effect. It's either a new AI project being released by China, tariff talks 1 minute. Now we have, this issue with the Libra token we're going to talk about from the Argentina president. We're going to talk about a little bit of a length here in a few minutes of how it pulled a ton of liquidity out of Solana. And it's causing an absolute ripple effect. But Big Daddy Bitcoin always seems to kind of keep our head above water. We've heard some people talking about how it's going to possibly, touch the $80,000 range. Really a key level here. I think a lot of people are talking are right around 92,000, but still up on where we were months ago. And, I'm a bigger bull than I was the other day. I've stayed bullish. But whenever we see these price corrections, it does feel like it's on sale. I just wanted to call out, and a lot of investment firms and a lot of stock markets out there believe the same thing. I just pulled this up, Joe, because the HK Asian Holdings Limited saw their shares double in 1 day just because it purchased one Bitcoin. So just dabbling in the Bitcoin world made people kind of freak out about their stock. So attention is still there in the Bitcoin market. And one of our favorite macro analysts out there, good old Bob, is talking about how we're on Bitcoin day 50 and in the final phase of a 60-day weekly cycles here, and talking that we could see some positive movement in a matter of only 10 days. But really, more of a question is if the bottom range is 90K and if that can hold or not. Doesn't matter. Sentiment is still resetting and occurs either way. But interesting that he's calling that level of $90,000 of key support there for Bitcoin.
Yeah, what's happening is because of the Bitcoin dominance is really right now QQQ has MicroStrategy in it. MicroStrategy owns Bitcoin, so the second largest pension funds owns $100 million of it. So that's kind of bolstering Bitcoin. And now 12 US states reported holding master, not because they hold master individually, but because they own QQQ, right? They just hold it as a part of an index. And all these indexes are, floating the Bitcoin price. That's why people who's in the Bitcoin world, they're like, oh, crash? What are you talking about? It's barely budged like 10% since its highs in December.
Yeah, we're talking about the macro market here. I've never felt more comfy in my Bitcoin bags, but there has been a little bit of a change in our Solana bags. We both have noticed using the term, I guess, some max pain over the past couple of days, especially when we were sitting at Solana at $200 on this past Friday, and now we're at 160, $165. And we could honestly bleed more, to be completely honest. And Joe, going to recap the audience, and I know you're pretty familiar with it, but Mando did a great job just typing this up on a Twitter thread, so I'm gonna basically read it to everybody. But the too long didn't read. Libra was the token launched by Argentina, or the president of Argentina, Javier Milei. He launches this meme coin with the help of Kelser Ventures. The coin aimed to fund Argentina's development. Honestly, sounded like a pretty good idea at the time. And the coin, I missed all this. I was on an airplane, so I missed a lot of this. And we've heard rumblings in the past from several KOLs on Twitter that Argentina was thinking about coming out with a coin, but they finally launch it. It runs all the way up to a 4.5 billion FDV on absolute insane volume. Then we saw a whole bunch of shady stuff just start happening. Malay distances himself from this project completely. The coin crashes to $300 million. We have people pointing fingers left and right of being insiders, receiving tokens, being uh, tipped off. Obviously, snipers were involved in this. People were given coins. Even Dave Portnoy, who all of a sudden 2 weeks ago didn't even know how to buy a meme coin, is now as the face of talking about this Libra meme coin. He was gifted coins. He was given by a Hayden Davis, who is part of Kelser's Ventures, who was tasked to launch this. I can't even get fully into it. Everyone should just really look at a recap on Twitter if you really want to get into it. But we had CoffeeZilla. Honestly, I watched this on Saturday, Joe. He interviewed Hayden Davis, and Hayden was just spewing everything that he knew about the project and how he was involved, using $110 million from Libra as leverage in negotiations. Just can't believe the names that have been connected to this. Now we have Merora, Jupiter, Moonshot. They're all getting their fingers being pointed at. We had one of the co-founders, Metora, step down, I believe, as of today. So it's just a complete debacle of a mess of what's happening. And I just touched on it briefly, but it caused tons of liquidity to get sucked out of the Solana ecosystem. Memes crashed, the AI sector crashed, and Solana crashed. Joe, I'm just rambling right now. Make some sense of this all for me.
Yeah, thankfully I was touching grass. I was enjoying, some activity this weekend, and I saw all this news flood in, and it spilled over into the NFT world, believe it or not, because of, Hayden Davis. He has a list of influencers that got involved, and a lot of it were either, head community members of NFT projects or alpha groups or whatnot. And those people are now being kicked out of those NFT groups, believe it or not. So the whole sentiment across the Solana ecosystem space is down. And, in the beginning, we likened this to FTX, but I don't really think it's as bad as that. FTX, when that happened, Solana went down to $8, right? Like we're looking at 165 off the highs of, not even highs, off the recent price of 190, $200. So it's not really that bad. I mean, this is just basically Las Vegas, as I mentioned, ran by mafias back in the days. And then Meteora and Jupe had to come out and tighten their belts, saying, "Oh, we have to have better process because, although they're not privy to what's being launched, they are helping to launch these what I like to call my friends like to call nefarious tokens. So there needed to be a cleansing because there's just so many of these nefarious tokens being launched specifically for crime reasons. We joke about crime being legal, but that's exactly what's happening. And people are just fatigued overall about it's just token fatigue. There's just too many. Everyone's chasing, everyone's pumping and dumping. Unfortunately, the cool stuff, the innovative stuff that's happening, the minimal that there is on Solana is being drowned out. And, we saw an inverse, over in the Ethereum meme coins. Ethereum meme coins held pretty strong innovation and with AI still happening great on base, and who knows where that's going to roll over into. But there's obviously, really bullish stuff that we'll get into soon. But unfortunately, in this landscape right now in Solana, it's the casinos, it's the Wild West. So they got to tighten their belts and then start fresh, start new in the next, I wouldn't say next cycle, but they just got a cleaning up to do.
Yeah, it was a massive cleanse in the space. I mean, we were joking about it on the last podcast. Crime is legal, and it was a joke, but it really wasn't a joke. I mean, we had the President of the United States, Trump, launch a meme coin, then the Melania coin, and now there's all this talk about how a lot of insiders that were in on this Libra coin were connected to the Melania coin. It stinks to high heaven. It stinks that this happened. I'm sympathetic to anybody that lost money in this Libra coin. You and I weren't personally involved in it, but it obviously we've been hit with, some residual impact, I should say, or like nearby impact, because a lot of our other coins are down because people are just kind of like sick of losing money. They were just like, this feels like an insider's game. I am a huge proponent of where we're going in the world of AI and crypto. I don't think Solana, the chain, is going anywhere, honestly. There's a lot of great things. DeFi being built on it, DePIN, and I do think the trenches in the casino actually will come back. But we needed a cleanse here, and it was pretty much a matter of time, and it was a bummer because nobody knew when this was going to happen and how this was going to happen. But we literally have the president of Argentina getting sued right now by Argentina lawyers, and he's coming out. He's saying, I didn't promote it, I shared it, I acted in good faith, and I took a hit. Then he went on to an interview last night talking about how the majority of people who were hurt weren't Argentinians, they were Chinese and American investors, and it only affected like 5,000 people, not the 45,000 that was once reported. He's basically saying, the trenchers, just like you and I, were the ones that were hit and got a lot of this money extracted. At the end of the day, this is my final thoughts on it. This sucks this happened. I believe that we're going to have a cleanse in the space. I do think that the cream's going to rise to the top in some meme coins and some AIs and cryptos, and it's going to have a little bit of washout. But as more and more insiders and KOLs are linked to having information before the launch of this project, it's going to cause a lot of people not to want to jump in 2 feet first. It's going to cause a lot of us testing the waters, but that's why it's so important to do as much due diligence as much as you possibly can in a lot of these projects. And what are they promoting? What are they building? And honestly, the president of Argentina, nobody really probably saw this happening. That's why it ran up to a $4 billion market cap. But really, at the end of the day, nothing's safe in this space. It's truly a casino.
Yeah, now that I think about it a little bit deeper while we're talking about it here, it's just interesting how, there's no one regulating or on his board, right? Like approving a nationwide token. We know Trump's a little bit unhinged, but at least he had like a roadmap and a game plan. And he's holding 80% of supply also, which was the same as his Argentinian coin, but no one is mad because it was kind of written out. And I like to see, I like that they're trying to utilize it. Unfortunately, they teamed up the wrong people. And so that's the question. How does a president of a country allow this to happen? Where's the checks and balances there? It doesn't make any sense. So he might be ousted. If there is a poly market, I voted on it today. I voted for him to be ousted because it makes zero sense how he can have all this power and no checks and balances there. So that's my, I guess, last 2 cents on that. And like you said, we're all going to take a pause when these new tokens are going to be launched and, do a little bit more due diligence so that we don't get these rugs pulled from underneath us.
Yeah, it was just a wild story, and I do it's not as impactful as FTX. FTX was just it affected everyone from Tom Brady's to Ronnie Retail of the world, guys like you and me, just everybody was affected. This was really honestly a lot of the trench warriors out there that were affected that were aping into this token. A lot of people in this crypto space, like my buddies who I've even onboarded into AI tokens and memes, weren't even exactly sure what was happening with this Libra token. So this probably brushes by, but it's going to affect a lot of main players, a lot of KOLs in the group, and people that are on the inside there. It's a shame that everyone who lost money there because we had a good thing rolling here a few weeks ago with the Trump meme coin. We were pumping. Solana was almost 300 bucks. We were loving it. And then the Melania token came in and it all is interconnected with this team and who launched this Libra token. You guys ruined the fun for us. Now, there needed to be a cleanse, but I wasn't ready for it. I was ready for that Trump token to go to 100 bucks per. But it is what it is. There's still going to be awesome projects that pop up. And again, I'm super bullish on the AI space, Joe. What are your thoughts on how that's going to just develop here over time?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. But one last second. I messaged you right before this, and I was like, "Who's buying the Melania token?"
Oh
Because they're linked with
yeah.
the nefarious actors now. And I was thinking about this for the last 2 weeks. I'm like, is Melania token such a stupid token that people just want to pump it? It has to be. It's like the top 10 token, a meme token, and it's got so much volume. I think people are just gambling on Melania being just like a stupid, silly token, more like kind of like a fart coin. Because even with this debacle, it's barely budged. It's barely went down like a negative 50% like other things have. So, anyways, I just thought that was very interesting that it was still holding at such a high valuation. Deep dive on that, inside a private community. But yeah, AI, man, this here, let me share my screen here. There's some interesting stuff happening in AI with the real world, and I'm loving it. Coinbase is launching their agentic commerce. Now, we all heard of glorified chat boxes, but this one's going to have shopping enabled. Your AI agent's going to have a wallet. And you don't have to, I mean, this could be good or not. There's no checkout. So your AI agent can handle your funds for you. I mean, you give it a limited amount, like kind of like a child's credit card. But this is going to change the game for a lot of things. So I'm excited to see real world application of AI agents. And I'm glad, Brian Armstrong, Coinbase, Base is leading the way. At least they're US ran, at least there's regulations. Brian's always tried to follow the rule. So I'm excited about AI agents finally having their time to shine. Not saying screw meme coins, and the Argentina meme coin, but I'm finally glad something that you've been into, Brian, that we knew that it was going to have major ripples in the crypto world is finally having a time to shine that now, it's rising to the top. And not only, Coinbase, but this was really interesting. There is a sports commentator, a sports analyst AI agent through virtuals. We all know virtuals, and there she is. And this was launched during NBA All-Star Weekend. And I was there this weekend, and I actually was really close to meeting Darius Garland sitting there, Tristan Thompson, Malika Andrews, ESPN analyst. This is not like some fly-by-night AI agent. It's actual NBA current All Stars. They're not like some scrub player. Darius Garland is in the number one team in the NBA right now, which is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Although I hate to say it because I'm a Dubs fan, and this is a real thing. They did a live demonstration, and you can watch the video of them giving insights that's not typically shared on analytics, like attributes that are outside of regular metrics. And you can ask these questions. I don't know if you're a DraftKings bettor or a sports bettor, this would be really interesting to you. But just as a sports fanatic, I would love having someone to talk to because sometimes my friends don't text me back when I'm messaging them about the games. So I'm really loving what AI is doing here. And this is just like scraping the surface.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Actually, within our private community, somebody on Mighty Networks called it out over the weekend, was just asking about the project. And I was like, oh, I know a little bit about it. And I think it was maybe Sean or somebody in our community. And I did dug a little bit deeper into it. And I was like, oh, this is a great little project. And just like you, they're I don't want to say like solving real world problems, but they're just improving the way we interact in a lot of our favorite things. And one of those is sports and commentary. So that's why I'm so bullish on the AI world. I think there's a path here where a lot of these AI agents make it easier for us to invest, to integrate and use crypto. But the one thing for AI agents and me personally, Joe, I'm curious about your thoughts, are I don't know if I fully trust them with my wallet yet. So I would have to obviously create like a burner wallet, fund it with a minimal amount of money. And then if I'm asking it to like invest or buy something for me for a Shopify, even though it's built by Coinbase and virtuals and it's being endorsed by all the right people, it's still really hard for me to kind of like turn over funds to an AI agent. But I promise you this, I'll probably get over it really fast once or twice once I realize how easy it is.
I fully trust it. I do. Like and I liken this to Tesla's full self-driving. I own a Tesla, and people always ask me, "How do you trust that thing?" And it's like guardrails. Like you still drive. You can't be like reading a book, driving your Tesla. You have to look, but it's sometimes I trust it more myself, especially in rainy conditions. Like it keeps it centered more than I can, and it's closed loop. It's not connected to the internet because that'd be too slow. So this super fast computer system is controlling, not control. It's deciding the safety of myself, my wife, and my baby, right? And I don't give it full control, but I'm still in control, if that makes sense. So I feel the same way for AI agents. It's it's going to get to a point where I can text a message here and there. I can read a one chapter of a book, or one page of a book. But am I going to give it full control? Probably never. I'm always going to have an eye over it, right? And in time, I think I'm going to trust the AI agents with a small amount of my funds more than myself. Because what do, right? We chase the falling knife. We revenge trade, right? We have
Yeah.
all these emotional
Oh.
things. But your AI agent's going to be like, Joe, what the hell are you doing? It's just gonna be like, you're deviating 20% from your I'm like, oh, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. Thank God you got my keys and I don't. So I see that as we train it, because I train my Tesla full self-driving all the time. I don't train that way. There's a button where you can just tell Elon what to do. Like they're like, why did you take off autopilot? It always asks that question anytime you deviate from autopilot. And I'm always giving feedback. I'm like, Elon, you messed up here. You made me hit a freaking road bump. And I'm serious. I'm not even joking. And then I'm like, you put me in the wrong exit, bro. And at one time I was like, hey, Elon, can I get a job? I was just joking with sometimes, but I'm constantly, and Tesla's doing this. They're constantly trying to train to full self-driving. And that's how these AI agents operate. You got to train it. So you can't just be like, oh yeah, here you go. It's got to need some training to your kind of like your likes, your temperaments of trading and risk assessment, all that stuff. You can't just give it. So that's what people are gonna do. My wife got super frustrated with AI this weekend. She was like, I hate it. Why isn't it working? I didn't even respond. I was just like, keep asking questions. Tell it what you want. Because I did. I told her what I want. I'm like, just get more specific than that. I left her alone. An hour later, she's like, I think I'm getting it. It's doing what I want to do. And that's what's exciting because my wife is not technical at all. But so her learning curve with AI just squashed. Like she is not like I can see her trading crypto if she had a proper AI agent with her. That's a long answer, but that's kind of been my experience in the Bay.
Are you are you okay, so like AI agents come in like robot form in a few years. You got a little kid, you got the wife at the home. Say this robot isn't like an R2D2, because that's not like a Roomba or anything. Like this robot's like a strong robot, you know? Like it's something that like if it went haywire, it could crush your skull possibly. Uh it's very reasonably priced, but can do all the tasks at your house, clean, dishes, everything like that. Like Judy from the Jetsons, but super strength. Are you allowing that robot in your house with your family? Or are you just gonna be like, I trust you to do everything and you're not gonna crush my skull at night? Well, I'm curious. This is
It's the
way off
same.
our normal subject.
No, no, this is great. This is the same as buying Apple products. You never buy the first gen, like you don't buy the Apple Pro Vision. That thing was a big complete flop, like who only savant like only people who really want to be in the YouTube content creation world that want to buy the first gen of something. You wait for a shit to fail, you wait for them. Okay, that baby got shoved off the road. You probably don't buy that agent. But to put people's mind at ease, and this is the talk of just every day in the world of San Francisco is that Tesla is ramping up, to do 600 Optimists a week. They're going to close loop it. Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to test thousands of robots within Tesla, SpaceX, the solar panel company. I forgot what the name's called. And they're going to work out the kinks for like close to a year. Not saying that's going to be safe for my little baby, but they should have something working where, it minimizes those types of risk. And I'm still not going to buy the first version. I'm going to wait. It's kind of like a new meme coin being launched. You're like, do I get in after 1,000 wallets get in? Yeah, maybe. After it binds and there's enough liquidity, sure. But yeah, that's going to be something that I feel fairly confident about. And I know it's going to take people some time, but during NBA All-Star Weekend, there was a little robot cart going around San Francisco giving free drinks to somebody. And there was just some guy 10 feet away, just like, yep, there it goes. And it's just kind of like the norm in San Francisco. That robot can run over a kid today. But it's there giving out free drinks. I forgot what the drink was already. It's closer than we think. And I'm excited to have our R2D2.
Yeah, you make a great point. I don't want the first gen either, because I'd be too scared of it turning on me, even though I don't think that would really happen. But we've seen enough movies to scare us from the young age. But Gen 3, Gen 4, a lot of people have it in their house. It's kind of like the Alexa. Everyone was really worried about like the government hearing what we were gonna say by asking Alexa, and I'm over here like, what the heck are you saying to Alexa? Like I'm asking her what the weather is, you know? I'm not worried about what she's listening to what I say in my household, but obviously definitely exciting times in this whole AI race.
Yeah, I think there's a way that crypto and meme coins and everything integrates into this. If your AI robot opens the door for me, I'm gonna be like, hey, tip it 10 Pengu. Okay, let's kick back on track. But really, that's what's happening. I'm already tipping streamers in Pengu, believe it or not. So, but on to our last segment, which is something that I love. It's let's talk about some NFTs really quickly
Feels
because
like
it's
feels
exciting.
like a breath of fresh air. It really
NFTs,
does.
yeah.
It feels like a breath of
It,
fresh. I've been in these tokens, staring at charts too long, reading about corruption, and now I'm just like, give me back some NFT communities, give me back some art, give me back some love
yeah.
here.
Heck yeah, I've never left. That's why I like it so much. And just to show people kind of what's happening, entities have not gone away. This is in the last 7 days. $100 million worth of Ethereum NFTs has been traded, 21 million Bitcoin, and surprisingly, Mythos. I need to look into that. That's just gaming. So gaming's coming up, which is cool. Solana, that's no one trade NFTs in Solana. Everyone just gambles there. But just showing people kind of what's happening out there in the world of NFTs. And OpenSea finally, I want to say finally, we all knew this. They're launching the C token. And they're still working out the kinks of what and how you farm this because there's been a lot of backlash. But it's coming. So if you trade NFTs since 2021, you can probably get a little stimmy. Hopefully that comes when markets are better. Next up, Meebits was acquired from Yuga Labs. They're divesting some things. Maybe they need more funds, but Yuga Labs is making some moves. In fact, a Bored Ape is what is it? A lot of people has bought some Bored Apes recently, but the price is still around like $30,000 for a Bored Ape, which is maybe the lowest it's ever been. Very interesting. But they're making moves right now. Someone else making moves is Doodles. They will launch the Dude token, and the tokenomics is about, right there. It's about 30% going to the community. They're launching a Solana, which was a very exciting thing a week ago. Now it's probably not as exciting. But yeah, Solana is still the place to launch tokens, which is makes sense, right? It costs a lot to launch on Ethereum, although Ethereum gas fees were like $5 last week, right? Still, people don't want to pay $5 to trade meme coins on there in masses. So this is a Dude token breakdown. We don't know how much that's going to equate to, but we'll let you talk about that or give us some insight on that, Brian, because you own a Doodles. But before I move on, yeah, I said a mouthful there. What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, no, you were great. That was a good recap of what's happening in the NFT world right now. The OpenSea news was interesting because they had a farming system that was just like Blur, and people started to hate on them. So they changed the how you can earn extra points. And the one thing about OpenSea that I will give them credit here, the token's too late. I'm gonna certainly claim it, and I'm gonna hope it's successful. But we wanted that years ago, and but the communication has been better than ever. They're starting to communicate with everybody in the community and actually listening to feedback and changing their system. So that's kind of encouraging at the end of the day. So I'm excited to see how that all comes to fruition. And then next up, you mentioned about Sergito that purchased Me Bits. Well, Joe, what do you? I used to own some Me Bits, and man, I minted Me Bits whenever I think they were 2.5 ETH or something at the time. And I absolutely was like in love with that project when it first came out because we were at the height of the NFT love fest with everything. We thought these were going to be Punks 2.0. They were going to be our avatars in the metaverse, the 3D avatars. I loved going after the traits, and I forgot completely about them for like a year now, longer. But once I found out Sergio bought him, and he's been a big me bit holder forever, I was like, well, I'm gonna just look over the collection, and I kind of found myself like a nostalgic vibe looking at me bits again, and I was like looking at all the traits and which ones I liked. And I don't know what are your thoughts? Do you think they do something cool in the future? Is this a Pudgy Penguins Luca Takeover 2.0, and 2 years from now we're talking about Meebits like being sold at GameStops and Walmarts? Just curious, what's your thought here?
Yeah, I'm just excited when there's innovation in NFT space. So I'm hoping that Meebits follows in Luca's footsteps for sure. Because I'm surprised there's only one person trying to do something in the world of NFTs. Maybe they have the best IP, and there's definitely a place for pixelated, NFTs artwork. Because I have tons of friends that love any pixelated NFTs. They buy it, So I kind of see Meebits fit in that category. The metaverse is not. I wouldn't say it's going anywhere. It's only going to get more users. So I'm interested to see what comes from this acquisition because it is an acquisition. You're not just buying it to, shove it away in a shelf. Maybe they need a tax write-off. But yeah, anything exciting happening, I'm going to keep an eye on, which is why I was really looking into some alpha coming out of NFT Paris. Like there was a lot of people there. I had friends who I didn't know was still in NFTs. They text messaged me. They're like, "Hey, Joe, I'm in NFT Paris right now." I'm like, what? Like, what are you doing in NFT Paris? And they're like, "Yeah, we're just checking it out. We're in Paris anyways." And a lot of stuff's happening with NFTs, and we know a lot of Bitcoin NFT stuff. They had an Ordinal section, and it was thriving. There was a good event. So, just seeing what happens at NFTs overall, with these IPs that kind of launch, whether it be legacy like Meebits or new projects, is exciting to see. One other note of NFTs is NBA Top Shot. How the masses really got into to NFTs was through NBA Top Shot. 'Cause it was so easy, and they just had NBA All Star Weekend, and they did a bunch of activations. They gave away a free Kia. I didn't win it, by the way. They did two meetups with NBA players, the CEO of Flow. We don't like him, but he's there. Rohim, if you're watching this, yeah, you need to do better. But they were still giving out utility. I got free tickets to two events for an NBA All-Star Weekend. I got to enjoy it with my family. So there's a lot of actual utility still within NFTs. And that's what I like to see. If Meebits could do something utility driven, and that's what I like to say, how come there's so little utility types of movements? Like why is Luca the only founder doing stuff with Amazon Walmart? Like this, it seems like low-hanging fruit if you have a good IP and maybe even have a good one. Maybe if you just try, and that's what Luke always talks about. He goes, I'm out here trying everything. That makes all the difference. And NFT communities love that. So the NFT space is not going anywhere. And I, for one, am still very excited about NFTs. And maybe there's a rotation back. I don't know, but I'm enjoying the community.
Yeah, it's been great. I love the thoughts there. Thanks for giving your thoughts on me bits. I haven't again, just to reiterate, I haven't thought about those things for over a year. And right when I found about the acquisition, I probably spent like 45 minutes on my phone on OpenSea, ironically enough, because I go to Magic Eden all the time, but it was like the old school days of 2021. I was on OpenSea flipping through traits of me bits. But I don't know. I'm hopeful that everything shakes out into positive news for the meme coin world. Solana, NFTs are always really exciting and with the natural utility. It's pretty much all I got today. Anything else you want to give a shout out for?
Yeah. Crypto Mavericks. Find us on X, our podcasts, our rundowns. That's where we're going to be. Wherever the momentum is, that's where the Crypto Mavs going to be.
Awesome.